Hello and welcome to my video today. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about reversals and how some people can find and feel that reversals in a tarot deck spread can be quite negative. And I don't like that because I don't believe that reversals are negative. I think there is good and bad in everything. And you don't necessarily have to read the upside down cards as negative. So I wanted to try and explain how you can get a bit of a feel for movement within the cards, and it can change how you feel about any cards that are the other way around when you draw them and put them out into a tarot spread. So to start with, I thought I'd look at the Ten of Swords. So we've got the Ten of Swords here. You can see the man lying on the deck. I'm using my Rider-Waite deck here, and he's got all 10 swords in his back. So this is normally seen as quite a negative card, and in some deck translations, the upside down, the reversal of this card can also be seen as quite negative. However, if we flip the card around, and we're talking about movement here, if you think about those 10 swords piercing all of the man's chakras up and down his body, can you imagine and can you see that with some movement all of those swords could start to fall out? So you could then view the reversal of this Ten of Swords to be quite positive, because he is without swords in his back. He's then able to get up, and the next step for this card is to spiral back round to the Ace of Swords, which is a new beginning. So you then see the person getting up and starting again with that Ace of Swords energy. Another one is the Devil. So you can see in the Devil card we've got the same couple that are in the Lovers, except here they are actually handcuffed to the base of the Devil. So if you flip this card over, the chains will then fall away from the Lovers, and they are free to leave that negative influence of the Devil. So we can see that with movement there, it transforms the people in the card and their situations. Another one is the Ten of Wands. So traditionally in the Rider-Waite deck we have got somebody who's carrying a heavy burden. So we can see him there walking along with those 10 wands and weighing him down. If we turn it around, not so heavy, and we can see the wands dropping away from him. So it's lightening the burden there. And then the next step for him to move on to is the Ace of Wands again. Clean slate, new start, new creative energy. The Hanged Man also looks quite different if you turn it upside down. So now that we can see he's not actually hanging there anymore, he's stood up. So we can see that he's actually free to move on, and with the light around his head, he's been thinking, he's enlightened. So he's taken that new perspective and he's able to move on to the next card with it. And finally, the Three of Swords. So we've got the 3 swords which are piercing the heart in this card. And if we turn it around, we have some movement and the swords will fall out from the heart. So freeing up the energy in this card, and there it's not so restrictive then. Okay, so that's how you can do it with one card readings. So if you're doing a bigger readings, for example the Celtic Cross reading where you're using more cards, here's another way that you can use movement within your readings. So I'm just going to turn this around so you can see it. I've done a Celtic Cross reading with my in-between deck, and you can see that I've got upright cards and I've also used reversals. So if you look at the movement within the cards, you can see that it changes not just the order of the symbols, but where they are pointing towards, where the characters in the cards are moving towards. So the couple in the prime position of what is going on in your life here is the 5 to the 6 of Wands. Now we can see the two figures in this card looking off into different directions. So traditionally this side is the past. So we've got the 5 of Wands looking across to the past. So you can think about how that relates to this card then. And we can see the 6 of Wands looking off into the near future. If you look at the top, so this traditionally represents our goals, where what we're aiming for. Got the Sun to the Judgment card here, but it's reversed. So all of those angels from the Judgment card are now falling down towards our 5 of Wands. So you can interpret that into your reading. We've got the 8 of Wands to the 9 of Wands in the past. So this one is upright, but you can see that the woman in the card is breathing that creative fire, that creative energy into this card here. So this energy from the past is very much like forward focused on moving forward. We've got the Fool at the bottom here. So in this card, the Fool is portrayed as somebody who's just taken off from the cliff, who's just taken flight. But this card here is moving towards the card of the past. So you can think how this in the position of subconscious, unconscious feeling, what that means with the Fool moving into that section of the past. Here in the near future, we've got the Death card. So you can see the Phoenix rising here, but because it's a reversal, we want to look at where that symbol of the Phoenix is moving to. So we've got the Phoenix moving down here to meet the Fool. So the Death card to the Temperance is a card of change that's occurring over a long period of time, and the Fool is also about change, so you could interpret what those two cards mean together. If we look at the line here going down, we've got the Ace of Swords to the 2 of Swords, and you can see that even though he's static there, the sword that he's plunging into the ground, he's moving down to this card. And here we've got the Page of Wands to the Knight of Wands. She's reversed and she's throwing her cap into the air. She's just graduated and her cap is moving down to this position, which is the Judgment to the World. So this is kind of our hopes and fears. And here we've got the memories from the past, and our lessons in life learned, and they're rising up to meet this card. So you can interpret then how these two cards work together. And then finally our card moving off into the distant future is the Wheel to Justice. So you can see the figure of justice here and the Libra and balance scales, but the pathway is leading back up to our card here of Judgment and the World. So we can then have a think about how these two cards work together. So then you're not reading the cards separately, because you're looking at the movement and because you're looking at the direction that the people and the symbols within the cards are going, you're actually interpreting different cards together. So we've looked at these two cards together, these two cards together, these two cards together. So it's really interesting to kind of put that movement into your reading, and it kind of opens up and broadens your interpretation again. So that's my short video on a little bit about the reversals and how I try to avoid interpreting the reversals, because I want to look at so much more than the negatives within a card. I want to look at the movement and see how that alters your reading. So if you've got any thoughts on my video and what I've just shown you, if you'd like to type up in the comment section, I'd be really interested on your views, and if you've got anything to add. Thank you for watching my video and take care.